the worst of the worst still have goodness, right? Right there. Maybe a bit like the state, the worst of the worst still have some good, right? Well, the Nazism sort of popular. Noticing this 50-50, this equality is absolute mess. Because now we can't tell which one is out. It's actually much more hassle. It's an hideous situation, so that I'm given zombification. Suppose I'm more converted to sort of zombie mode, whether temporarily. It's quite devastating to the, whether it can be problematic, right? I've done that. It's probably at least whether it will be a probable, whether it will be, whether probably it will be a 20-year encounter durational time amount, whether in calendar years of, whether in calendar amount of years, or whether in calendar another, whether reason and whether another, and whether in calendar durational amount, whether in calendar years of another, whether 20 years, whether of delay there, whether of postponement. English is done for, guys. For many other places, all this English language is taught by these. These act like the public school wasn't benefiting from them. If it wasn't benefiting, go to any arena. Are these even our guys here? All these places are given to a lot of others, and a lot of the builders are high salary slaves. This place became utterly degenerate, and they are in a way above gods. That's how much, whether spelled or whether G-O-A-D, whether G-O-A-D-S there. Every terrorism, the very reason we start in a lot of the hobbies is because the terrorists intimidate us, and we have to sort of go along with. And then once that's down, then the whole thing is to send the presents. And the presents aren't usually given on sort of on sale way. It's sort of snatched under the hobby, whether it's currently it's a lot, whether a lot is found there, whether a lot is from. So the whole hobby is actually, whether it's mainly sort of whether it's from modernity and whether cannibalized, or whether it's largely being used from lots of the entities to spread such. And the whole hobby is no skill levels, or whether it does have skill level. It's simply gimmickry, insisted by none other than how does it get there, other than not by some sort of, whether by sugar terrorism. This place is majorly hijacked. We don't have government. We have number-based consumers, and these are exploiting its police protection and bothers a lot of others while they're playing president game. It is going to keep quiz on. If I underperform, it doesn't count. So these aren't against me, but even though they're morbidly against us, check out the lack of the sports fondness and the utter dishonest, and whether also no honor at all, whether the dishonorableness. Recent there mentions, and whether description, whether also mentioned the proper word to be downplay of, as common with almost every word, and whether with most words, and whether also descriptions of the proper word to count, whether include, whether also accountable as whether of another, also accountable as a change of subject, or it's more of whether of on, whether reason thereof, whether reason thereof, of on, whether applying to Gorans much more of, whether to extremists of Gorans reason, whether reason thereof, whether reason there applied to extremists of Gorans much more of. monolithic hate group, and whether just and whether recent or just and whether vestige of the problems come from those. Each of the issues on trade, whether on trades or whether trades or whether recent trades and whether on trades to those. And those in consecutive the monolithic hate group, whether also and whether recent also or whether the on source of vestige of the issues. Suppose the cows namely had this sort of authority, whether had the access to Walmart to pick up some sort of usurious handle, whether tools and weapons especially made for cows, they wouldn't do this. Suppose it was chickens, suppose it was hens, none of the creatures would remotely do this. It's been absolutely standard, and I've been placed into some sort of the same bucket, treated often, remarked around. Maybe sometimes it's our guys, and whether due to whether in combination, or whether it also comes with, and whether it comes along, and whether there's also our guys sort of strategic place, and whether from our spells that it probably the Viper Bite, and whether the Ultimatum from the Zombicist, whether it's sort of more of mini as in whether more of local, whether regional spells, whether infliction, we use postponement, uncomparative. Recently I mentioned there should therefore last a week. Where does this culturally contaminated conclusion come from? This is a vicious battle, guys. We are lack of a example. There are no example that is best. Probably if some of our guys happen to check out to certain situations and get to notice the sheer level of hazardness and actually find it and it goes in there. It's probably more suitable with external factor than just me mentioning, because the words, this whole lane is probably already missed. I could be pronouncing the words fairly well, and it will be already some kind of radio mask. Per realism data, whether at the function, whether at the functionality level of the original instinct, and whether the original formulating there was correct. Written the gesture of may not be super fit, and whether to could be other gesture, whether sort of a blend and whether plain reason thereof.